Hey, what's up guys? Give me United here, your host, Wild Willie, and we're back with another video, and we're with...
Sturm. How you guys doing? Today we're gonna be telling you guys a lot of the epic card strengths and weaknesses. But before we begin, please like and subscribe, and please follow us on Instagram at Goodman United Clash Royale. Our Discord link would be in the link below, or you can even go and type out our name, Goodman United, click it, press about, and it should be in blue. Instagram and Discord, so you can click on that. Join our Discord, follow us on Instagram, like all our posts, and yeah.
Let's get started with the first card. The first card we're going on would be Mirror, and we're doing epics today. So the Mirror card, it duplicates a card, every single type of card, and if it's a higher level, it makes the level it makes the card that you duplicate a higher level. If it's a lower level, it'll probably duplicate lower. Overall, it's a really decent card in my opinion, and you can do some good pushes with this, but it can be bad at times because the mirror card does make, if the mirror card is a higher level and it's gonna duplicate to a higher level, it's gonna cost more elixir. Overall, it's gonna cost more elixir at the same time, and in my opinion, I don't recommend it. Let's get Sturm's opinion on it, and let's see on here. What's your opinion on it, Sturm?
I think it's pretty good. If you, let's say you put down the Hog Rider and then you mirror it, the Hog Rider would actually cost 5 elixir, but depending on the level of your mirror, so let's say your mirror is level 10, your Hog Rider would be level 11. If your mirror is level 13, your Hog Rider would be level 14. Now, there is no level 14 cards in the game, but there is, and it's only possible with the mirror. So overall, I think it's a pretty good card. Not something I would recommend, but pretty good. And our next card would be the Barbarian Barrel, which is a decent spell. It's not air defense, but it's pretty short range. But it can definitely crush something like the Princess and some other cards. It only costs 2 elixir, so that's pretty cheap. And it's kind of like the log, actually, except it doesn't push things back. But after it's done rolling, a Barbarian comes out, and even though Barbarians don't have much hit points, it can still do some damage depending on where you place it. It'll totally take out a whole skeleton army, Goblin Gang, and a few other cards. So what do you think, Royale?
Overall, it's a really good card in my opinion. I like how the Barbarian can distract the enemy's card that they place down, and overall, it's a really good card. I'm not saying the log does do more damage, but overall, since the Barbarian Barrel can distract, I think it's a really good card, and maybe even better than the log.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it.
Me too. So the next card would be a spell card, and it would be the Rage spell. And overall, I like the card, but it's not one of the best spells in the game, and it does have a pretty good duration, and it does boost the card a lot, so it does do some really good damage on the tower. Overall, I don't like it, and I wouldn't recommend it. I would rather use the Lumberjack instead. And what's your opinion on this term?
Well, literally everything you said, I would not also recommend it, but not one of the worst epics. But when the worst epic comes, I'll tell you exactly what it is. And our next card would be the Wall Breakers. They have very low hit points. I think it's a great card. It does a lot of damage, especially if your enemy doesn't defend. Arrows can take it out, and Log can pretty much take it out. It does most of their damage. But as long as they don't defend it, your enemies, a lot of damage. Mine's level 10, and it does 357 each. So I would definitely recommend it. What do you think, Riley?
Overall, it's a really good card in my opinion. Low HP, well, hit points, like Sturm said, but that's the problem with it. But overall, the damage-wise, it can be really good for a clutch or like if or overall can destroy a tower if you really have to destroy it. Overall, it's a really good card in my opinion. Like I said, can go in for a clutch, and like if one of the towers is destroyed and they got one of your towers destroyed, and you can get those to the other side and do a bunch of damage, and if it's like at the final moment and it does take a bunch of HP down, and you got the tower, and yeah, you can win by that. Overall, it's a really good card in my opinion, and like Sturm said, it's all I probably said too, but you know. So, so our next card would be the Skeleton Army. And the Skeleton Army is really good in my opinion. One of my favorite cards in the game. Low HP, but it can be easily taken down with arrows and baby dragons. But overall, if the dude doesn't have arrows or like a air defense to stop it, and he places down a prince, and he places down that, it can like really do a bunch of damage to the prince and kill it, and hog riders too. Overall, you can have like a Valkyrie down and like distract the Mega Knight and have that down too. Overall, it's a really good card in my opinion. Though low HP does make it iffy, but overall it's a really good card. What's your opinion on it, Sturm?
Also one of my favorite epics in the epic category. It it dies very easy. Any spell can kill it. Literally any spell. Um, it does very good against like the Royal Giant and like everything Wildly said. So I would definitely recommend this card, but it does have low HP. And our next card would be the Guards. So, but like I said, Skeleton Army was one of my favorites. This is one of the worst. And I pretty much kinda used to like this card ever since they updated arrows, where it hits arrows now hit 3 times. So they pretty much arrows will destroy this card, and it pretty much breaks the use to them. And it does about the same damage as the regular Skeleton Army, and there's only 3 of them. So like the only thing that makes this card good is that they have shields. So if you fireball it, they won't die. But other than that, probably one of the worst epics in this game, so I would not recommend it. What do you think, Wiley?
Like Sturm just said, yeah, probably one of the worst epics in the game, and overall it's pretty much an annoyance, and I would rather use Skeleton Army instead of this. Overall, probably one of the worst epics in the game. Our next card would be on my list would be the Clone, and the Clone is one of my favorite spells because I use a giant skeleton deck, and overall this card is really good for big pushes, and you can clone it and do a bunch of damage to the tower. Overall, it's a really good card, and I would really recommend this card if you're doing a big giant push and cloning it, and you can do really a bunch of damage and even get a 3 crown with the push. What's your opinion on it, Sturm?
A very good card. The only weakness really is that like the thing. Well, there's 2 of them actually. Is that you can't clone a card that you already cloned, and um, every time you clone a card. So let's say you clone the prince. That prince that you clone only has 1 hit point to it. So be very careful with that. But all in all, very good card. Like Wiley said, is not one of my favorite spells, but I would definitely recommend it. And our next card would be the Twister, Tornado, not Twister. Um, and I think this is a pretty good card. It actually does some damage too. Like it'll destroy a skeleton army. But like if your enemy like the Goblin Barrel right to your tower, you can just twist that Goblin Barrel, like tornado that Goblin Barrel, and it can make it hit your King's Tower. Same with actually a lot of cards. Like I'd probably say Hog Rider is the easiest, or Miner, depending on where they place the Miner. But pretty good card. Not something I would recommend, but all in all, pretty good card. What do you think, Rob? Really?
Overall, it's a pretty good card, like Sturm said. Yeah, you can get cards easily to your King's Tower, so you can get that up, so you can have more defense. Overall, it's an alright card. It's an annoyance for stopping big pushes like yours and crowding them together, so the wizard can do a bunch of splash damage around it. Overall, it's a decent card, like Sturm said, and I agree with everything like he said. And yeah, the tornado spell. So the next card on my list would be the Goblin Barrel. And the Goblin Barrel is a good card. It's a really annoying card too. I don't like it. And overall, me and Sturm used to do a bunch of cool stuff with the Goblin Barrel, like a Goblin Barrel clone and everything mirror. And overall, it's a decent card. I don't use it anymore, but it does do a bunch of damage and does come in with a clutch. But like the log arrows, the Barbarian Barrel can really kill it really easily. And overall, it's a really good card in my opinion. What's your opinion on Sturm?
Pretty much everything Wild Willie said. Very easy card to kill. Does a lot of damage. And like, yeah, we used to place this card, mirror it, then clone it. Like when people kind of sucked. Like when we were back in Arena 8, 9 maybe. I don't really remember. A while ago, about a year ago. And but that costs 10 elixirs, so that's a very expensive thing to do. But if they don't defend against it, it would take a tower almost instantly. So definitely a card I would recommend. And the next card is Hunter, which is also one of my favorite epics in this game. Because believe it or not, this thing can do up to, when it's max level, 1020 damage. Now every bullet does 100. He has 10 bullets. When he fires, he has 10 bullets. So if like he's firing at something kind of far, like when he first fires at that tower, like it'll probably like 3 bullets would hit, so it'd do a good 300 to 400 damage. But if it's really close, like the giant comes and he's like right next to it, it'll almost like it'll almost take that giant out in 2 or 3 hits because it does 1020 damage. I like this card especially for Balloon because it'll take Balloon out like it's nothing. So weakness, pretty low health, but other than that, it's pretty good. It's even air defense, like the Balloon, obviously, and ground defense. So yeah, very good card. What do you think, Wild Billy?
Yeah, overall, a really good card, and I do enjoy it a lot. And I use it sometimes, but not all the time. But yeah, overall, this card's really good, and it does do a bunch of damage to giants, like Sturm said, and he mostly said everything what I was gonna say. And it's a really good card, and I would recommend using it. So my next card on my list would be the Dark Prince. The Dark Prince is pretty bad in my opinion. It's not as good as the Prince. Overall, it does do splash damage, area damage. I mean, but the area damage does kind of make up for it. But overall, the damage it does to like the tower or like the regular Prince overall, it's pretty low. It's mostly good for like the Goblin Gain or like skeletons or like the guards. Overall, I don't recommend this card, and it does have low HP. The shield kind of makes up for it, but not the best card in the game. What's your opinion, Sturm?
Everything you said, Wild Billy. And the next card that I have on my list is the Poison. And I don't know, I never liked the Poison for reasons I don't understand. But I mean, it does damage to the tower. Like it lasts 8 seconds. So and every second at level 10 it does 30 damage. So like if you times that, like okay, it's like 240 damage at level 10 to the tower, and damage per second is 83 at level 10. But it's air and ground defense, and its range, its radius, it's not huge, but it's not small either. So I would recommend this card. What do you think, Wild Willie?
Overall, it's a good card in my opinion. I would recommend it. Like Sturm said, it's an annoyance, and the poison spell does come in a clutch if a tower's really low. Overall, it's a good card. The four elixirs are right, and it's really good for a card like this. And the radius is really good too. And it's perfect for the poison spell. Overall, it's a good card, and I would recommend it. Like Sturm said. So our next card on my list would be the free spell, and the free spell when it was like back in like a year ago actually, and 2 years ago actually, it was a horrible card because it only froze and it didn't really have a good time, and it never did damage. Well, now it does do damage and does freeze and does have a good freeze duration, and the radius is good for it too, and the damage does make up for it, and the free spell is really good if you're doing a Hog Rider push. Overall, a really good card in my really good spell in my opinion, and probably one of the best epic spells in here. What's your opinion on this, term?
Oh yeah, I like this card. I only really see it when like people have the graveyard. They have graveyard and they freeze. Actually, that's the same with poison. Like I only really see it when they have graveyard because they poison it. Graveyard, pretty good thing. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it does enough to destroy a skeleton army. So I would recommend it, but like only if you have like Hog Rider or something like that. And the next card on my list would be the only 4 elixir card left is Baby Dragon, which it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Like it hits pretty fast, but like yeah, if you place Minion Horde right, it would take it out pretty easy, and you like kill like 3 minions. But if it hits a tower, it does do some damage. Not a card I would recommend, but it's your opinion. You can use it if you want. What do you think, Riley?
Overall, it's a decent card in my opinion. The splash damage does make up for it, and it does have a good amount of HP, so it can tank kind of. Overall, the Musketeer can really kill it easily, and mostly this card is used for hordes, like this horde that's shown on my screen right now, and like the Minion Horde too, like Sturm said. Overall, it's a decent card, not my favorite card, but for the elixir price of it and the splash damage it does, I would kind of recommend this card, but I would see many other better cards to do better than this. Overall, it's a decent card, and whatever Sturm said was what I was gonna say too, and a decent card. My next card on my list would be the Electro Dragon, and the Electro Dragon is pretty kind of new. Um, it does it's not the best card, but it does make up for it for the like the chain reaction. Well, it's a chain, and it does stop a bunch of things easily, but it does stun them for a bit too. Overall, it's not my favorite card. It's probably not one of the best epics in the game for the HP, since the HP is very low. And overall, it's probably not the best card in the game, and it's probably one of the worst ones, but not as bad as like the oh I think Baby Dragon's better than this one. But what's your opinion on it, Sturm?
I do think it is like in the top 3 worst epics in the game. So far we got Baby Electro Dragon and Guards, but yeah, I don't like it. It takes a couple seconds for it to even hit something. It has pretty low hit points. Not a card I would recommend. The next card on my list is the Executioner, which is a very good card. It takes down a minion horde like it's nothing. Minion, skeleton army, like even bigger cards it can do some damage too. Not the highest hit points in the world. I mean, it's not low, but it's not high. But I would definitely recommend this card. What do you think, Riley?
Overall, what Sturm said, I would recommend this card too. It does do a bunch of damage. The HP does make it iffy on using it, but overall, if you're doing a big push with this and you have him in the bag, he is really good.
Oh
Overall, I would
yeah.
recommend this card, and
Mhm.
for the elixir it has, it's alright, and you can do a really good push on it, and I would recommend this card, like I said before. So the next card on my list would be the balloon. And the balloon is really good if you can get it to the tower, but overall it's pretty slow, and its death damage is alright if you have the troops already low HP. Overall, if you can get the balloon on the tower, it does really good, the and overall it's alright card. It's not my favorite card to use. It can be an annoyance sometimes if like someone can get the balloon without you noticing at all. Overall, it's a really good card. The death damage does kind of make up for it, but how you can kill it really easily with like a bunch of cards, it, it's eh. What's your opinion on it, Sturm?
I think it's a very good card. A lot of damage. Both at level. What level is mine? About level 10, it does about 300 area damage when with the bomb. So pretty good card. Definitely recommend it. But I would probably never use it. And the next card on my list is the Prince, which is like also in the top three. This is actually my favorite. So this one, the Prince, the Hunter, and the Skeleton Army are my top three. The Prince does quite a bit of damage if you don't defend. Very good against. Actually, like think about this as a P.E.K.K.A, like the mini P.E.K.K.A. Like it does about the same damage every 2 times it hits. So if it hits the tower twice, that's about the same damage as P.E.K.K.A would do in one hit. But it does also hit a little bit faster than the mini P.E.K.K.A. So it's kind of like the mini P.E.K.K.A's brother. They just don't look anything alike. But I would definitely recommend this card. Pretty high hit points. Charge damage is even better. Not very. It's pretty fast actually. Like it's not slow. But when it's charging, it's real fast. What do you think, Wiley?
Overall, it's a really good card. I would recommend this card, like Sturm said, and the charge damage is really good. But overall, it can get the charge damage can go really easily by like distraction with like 3 skeletons or something. Overall, it can get distracted really easily by other troops, but if it can get hit the tower, it does do a bunch of damage. And like Sturm said, like the mini P.E.K.K.A's brother, but different skin. And overall, I would recommend this card. So the next card on my list would be the Witch, and the Witch is not as good as it used to be. It's alright, but how they updated it now, it's iffy. But overall, it's a decent card in my opinion. It does splash damage, and the skeletons are alright for distraction. But I wouldn't really recommend this card at all because Valkyrie and many other troops can kill it really easily, and the hit points is not as high as it used to be, or was even high before then. But overall, it's a decent card. The splash damage is alright, and the skeletons are alright. Wouldn't recommend it
I
anyways. What's your opinion on it, Sturm?
pretty much everything Wiley said. The only time I really see the witch is when they place it behind Giant, Royal Giant, sometimes really P.E.K.K.A, but not a card I would recommend. The next card on my list would be the Cannon card, which it's not in my top three, but I think this is an awesome card. If you don't defend against this card, it practically takes a tower. Like even when you destroy it the first time, it has nowhere near as many hit points as when you destroy it the first time, but it still does the same damage, so it's a very good card. But so I would definitely recommend it. What about you, Wiley?
Overall, I would recommend it too. The damage it does is really good. It's decent, and when you can't kill it, and you can't kill it once because it's back alive twice. And overall, you can do a bunch of damage with the tower if you can get hit the tower, and it's a really good card in my opinion. I would recommend this card. The only thing that doesn't make it really good is it only targets ground, but you would think it would target air since it's a cannon, but overall, it's a good card in my opinion. Our next card would be the Bowler, and the Bowler is alright. The HP it has is really good. The damage it does is really good too, and the knockback it does is really good too. Overall, I would recommend this card, but a minion horde or like a P.E.K.K.A can stop it really easily because it can't do knockback to it. Overall, it's a really good card in my opinion. It has a bunch of HP and it does really good damage. And yeah, I would recommend this card. What's your opinion on it, Sturm?
Definitely a defense card. It does knock pretty like low HP hit point troops back, like the Witch. I think it does the Valkyrie too, the mini P.E.K.K.A. But also, like Wiley said, it doesn't knock like the Prince or the P.E.K.K.A, Golem, or Giant Skeleton back because those are a lot higher. But definitely does a lot of damage. Not really an offense card, but definitely a card I would recommend. And the next card on my list would be Goblin Giant, which I think is another one of the worst ones in the game. Probably top three worst ones. Only because it's like a ripoff to Royal Giant. I mean, the only thing that makes this card somewhat good is the two spear goblins in the back. Otherwise, it's dumb. What about you, Wiley?
I think it's a decent card. It's not. I don't like how the Goblin Giant does have low HP. You would think it would have a little more HP than it has because it's the epic, and you would think it could be better. But overall, I think the Spear Goblins does kind of make it all right. But I wouldn't recommend this card either way. Um, Overall, it's a decent. It's not the best. It's probably one of the worst giant tanky troops in the game, and I wouldn't recommend this like Sturm said. And the next card on my list would be the Lightning Spell. And the Lightning Spell is it's probably one of the it's not the best, but it's probably one of the it's not the best, but it's not the worst because it can stop really high like 8 hit point troops to HP. And overall, it's a right card, but for the 6 elixir, I wouldn't recommend using it. This is like literally a last resort type of card if a big push is there. I wouldn't recommend this card. What's your opinion on it, Sturm?
Yeah, pretty much like Wiley said, I wouldn't recommend this card either, but it does have pretty big range, but it only hits 3 most, so definitely won't recommend. And the next card on my list would be the Expo, which I give this card credit for being the #1 most annoying card in this game. It is so, especially that stupid. How much elixir is that deck? Like 2.8 or something like that. It's
Yeah.
so freaking annoying. Oh, I hate it. But it does do pretty good damage against a tower. But other than that, nah. What do you think, Wiley?
Yeah, like Sturm said, it's really annoying, and it does do a bunch of damage. Overall, you can stop it easily. It does have a good amount of hit points, but it can do a bunch of damage to your tower, and they can be really sneaky with this card too sometimes. And yeah, it can destroy your tower easily without you noticing too. Overall, it's an annoying card, but it's a really good card at the same time. In my opinion, I wouldn't recommend it since it's 6 elixir and it can be a waste of time at the same time. Overall, if you're doing an annoying deck, I would recommend this card too. And the next card would be my favorite card in the whole entire game. It would be the Giant Skeleton. And the Giant Skeleton is really good, in my opinion. The Giant Skeleton, when it dies, it drops a bomb. And the bomb does a really good, has a big radius, and it's really good. And it does like literally one shot a lot of troops in that radius. And you can do a big push with this card if you're really good at using the Giant Skeleton. And you can clone this card too, while the clone card could die and it can kill the troops in the back, and the Giant Skeleton with the like half health can go up top and do a bunch of damage to the tower, and that will blow up. This card is really good in my opinion. The hit points is really good. The speed on it is really good too, and it's really good for this type of card. Overall, it's a really good card, and I really recommend this card if you can really be precise with this card. What's your opinion on it, Sturm?
Everything you said, Wiley. And the next card, I would definitely recommend that too. Not my top 3, but definitely recommended. And the next card would be the P.E.K.K.A, which myself, I would personally just use the mini P.E.K.K.A because both max level 13, like it pretty much does the same damage, except the P.E.K.K.A has a lot more health and it's a lot slower. So I would just use the mini P.E.K.K.A. What do you think, Wiley?
Overall, I think this troop is kind of an annoyance too. Like Sturm said, I would use the mini P.E.K.K.A instead because when it's level 13, it does literally the same amount of damage as that, and it's faster. And overall, this troop is decent if you can get it to the tower, but I wouldn't recommend this card at all. And the next card, and the final card, I think, right? The final
Yeah.
card would
Yep.
be the Golem. And the Golem is actually really good, actually, in my opinion. And the HP it has on it, it's really good. And the damage it does when it it dies, it's really decent.
Yeah, that splash damage it does when it gets destroyed is amazing.
And overall,
Slow.
well, yeah, it's slow. That's the downside. It's slow. Overall, the Inferno Dragon, the Inferno Tower, it literally has to be that one type of card that has to be in the deck so you can kill it really easily. And the Skeleton Army can kill it, but the splash damage does ruin it. And overall, if you can get it to the tower and it does, and yet that enemy enemy player has like something down, it does do a bunch of splash damage and it can kill it easily. And this card can really destroy towers very easily, and you can do a big push with this. I would recommend this card, really recommend this card if you're a beginner, like kind of a beginner. And what's your opinion on it, Sturm?
Man, I think you just said everything there is about this card. So yeah, here's not much you didn't say. I mean, a P.E.K.K.A can destroy it. Mini P.E.K.K.A can destroy it pretty easy. Hunter. But other than that, you said everything. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, Discord, blah, blah, blah. And yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think we did good. The legendaries, we're going to talk about legendaries in a few days.
And the thing about the legendaries is that we'll have a guest voice on the legendaries. Not going to tell you what his name is until we do the video.
But
So
he's
guess you're
one
just
of
going to
our
have to watch and see.
he's a good player on our clan, and more people from our clan are gonna come in and like talk with us and be guests with our videos
Mhm.
too. And if you guys want to join the clan too, it's Good Man United, and if we have a free
There's,
spot
as,
open,
as of right now, one free spot, just like what Lily said. So, yeah.
and yeah, we can do shoutouts too if you guys want that, and like try to get our
And
channel up too.
please send us pictures on Instagram so we can post them. I mean, I got a lot of them, but if we like it, we'll post it.
And another thing is that our clan is really active, and it can be really active at times. And our like most active time we used like had before was like 22 people online, and that was pretty
Oh,
neat.
yeah, that was fun. We're all doing those, and that was about a couple months ago, a
Yeah,
long time ago, but that was fun. So yeah, hope you guys liked the video. Please like, subscribe. We just went over this, and as always,
boys, we'll see
we'll see
you
you next
next
time.
time.